Harihi Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryan Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Brahma Samhita. Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachitananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govinda Sarvakarana Karanam Chintamani Prakara Sadma Sukalpa Vriksha Laksha Vriteshu Surabhira Vipalayantam Lakshmi Sahasra Satasambhrama Sevyamanam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Venum Kvanantam Aravinda Dalaya Taksham Varahavatam Samasita Buddha Sundarangam Kandarpakuti Kamaniya Vishesha Shobham Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Alola Chandra Kalasadvanamala Vamshi Ratna Gadam Pranayakeli Kalavilasam Shyamam Tribanga Lalitam Niyata Prakasham Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Angani Yasya Sakalendriya Vriti Manti Pasyanti Panti Kalayanti Chiram Jaganti Ananda Chinmaya Sadujvala Vigrahasya Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Advaitam Achyutam Anadim Anantarupam Adyam Purana Purusham Navayauvanam Cha Vedeshu Durlabham Adurlabham Atma Bhaktau Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Pantastu Koti Satavatsara Sampragamyo Vayoratapi Manaso Munipungavanam Sopyasti Yat Prapadasinya Vichintya Tattve Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Ekopi Asaura Chaitum Jagadanda Kotim Ya Chaktirasti Jagadanda Chayaya Danda Andantarasta Paramanu Chayantarastam Govindamali Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Yadbhava Bhavita Diyo Manujastataiva Samprapya Rupa Mahima Sanayana Bhusha Shuktayameva Nigama Pratitastu Vanti Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Ananda Chinmaya Rasa Pratibhavitabis Tabirya Eva Nicharupa Taya Kalabi Goloka Eva Nivasatya Kilatma Bhuto Govindamani Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochanena Santa Sadaiva Hridayeshu Vilokayanti Yam Shyama Sundaramachintya Gunaswarupam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Ramadi Murti Shukalani Yamena Tishtan Nanavataram Akarud Bhuvaneshu Kintu Krishna Swayam Samabhavat Paramapumanyo Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Yasya Prabha Prabhavato Jagadanda Koti Kotishvashesha vasudhati vibhuti bhinam Tad brahma nishkalamanantam ashesha bhutam Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami Maya hiyasya jagadanda satani sute Traigunya tadvishaya veda vitayamana Sattva valambi parasattvam vishuddha sattvam Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami Ananda chinmaya rasatmataya manasu Ya praninam pratipalam smaratam upetya Lilaitena bhuvanani jayati ajashram Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami Golokanamni nijadamni talecha tasya Devi mahesha haridama suteshu teshu Te te prabhava nichaya vihitascha yena Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami Shrishti stiti pralaya sadhana shakti rekha Chayeva yasya bhuvanani bibhati durga Ich anurupam api yasya chachishtate sa Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami Kshiram yatadadi vikara vishesha yoga Sanjayate nahi tata pritakasti hetu Yasambhutam apitata samupaiti karyat Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami Diparchireva hidasantaramabhupetya Dipayate vivrita hetu samana dharma Yastadrikeva hicha vishnutaya vibhati Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami Yat karanarnava jale bhajati sma yoga Nidram ananta jagadanda saroma kupa Adara shaktim avalambya param swamurtim Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami Yasyaika nishvasita kala matavalambya Jivanti loma vilaja jagat antanata Vishnur mahamsa iha yasya kala vishesho Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami Basvanyatasma sakaleshu nijeshu teja Sviyam kiyat prakatayatyapi tattva tatra Brahmaya esha jagadanda vidana karta Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami Yat pada palavayugam vinidaya kumbha Dvandve pranama samaye saganadiracha Vignan vihantum alamasya jagatrayasya Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami Agnir mahi gaganamambu maruddishascha Kalastatatma manasiti jagatrayani Yasmad bhavanti vibhavanti vishanti yamcha Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami Ya chakshuresha savita sakalagrahanam Raja samasta suramurti rashesha teja Yasya gyaya brahmati sambrita kama chakro Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami Dharmo tapapa nichaya shutayastapamsi Brahmadikita patagavadayascha jiva Yadha tamatra vibhava prakata prabhava Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami Yastvendra gopa matavendra mahosva karma bandhanurupa phalabhajanam atanoti karmani nirdahati kintu cha bhakti bhajam govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami yam krodha kama sahaja pranayadi bhiti vatsalya moha guru gaurava sevya bhavai sanchintya tasya sadrishim tanumapurete govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami Shriya kanta kanta parama purusha kalpataravo druma bhumimschintamani ganamai toyam amritam kataganam natyam gamanam apivamshi priyasaki Chitanandam jyoti param apitat ashvadyam apicha Sayatra kshirabdi shavati surabhibhyascha sumahan Nimesharda va vrajati nahi yatrapi samaya Bhajashveta dvipam tamaham iha golokamitiyam Vidantaste shantakshiti viralachara katipaye Shishi Brahma Samhita ki jai. So yesterday we started the topic of the secondary creation, and now we will finish this topic, the last verse, text 23, Brahma speculation. At that time, Brahma, after appearing inspired by the energy of the Lord, developed the desire to create the worlds under the influence of his previous impressions, Purva Samskara Samskrita. We have a note 15. Sri Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur in this connection notes, all jivas get their nature conformably to their impressions of previous births and according to their activity can have a beginning. It is called the unseen, adrashta, or the result of one's previous deeds. His natural impulse is formed according to the nature of the deeds done by him in the previous kalpa. Some of the eligible jivas also attain to the office of Brahma in this way. Brahma Samhita 5.23 purport. And then we continue the verse. But he saw only darkness and nothing else in all directions. So Brahma developed the desire to create, but he was not sure what to do. And Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj explains that these desires, they were because of his previous experience, previous samskaras. In Bhagavatam we have this famous verse, karma nadaiva netrena jantur deho papadyate. Each and every living entity enters in a certain mother, certain womb, according to his previous activities and previous desires. So he gets a certain opportunity to fulfill these ambitions, these desires. But of course, it's limited according to his pious and impious activities in previous life. So that's why Daiva Netrena. At the end of the day, although we may have many different desires, aspirations, what actually we are going to get depends on the Lord. And how the Lord will decide something, it depending on our previous activities, pious or impious.
So we have the free will, minute free will, Srila Prabhupada says, to act upon our desires, but the consequence of our activities will be decided by the higher authorities, not by us, because we may say, well, this is not so bad thing that I did, it's not such a problem, I don't deserve to be punished like this, but it's not up to us to decide.
You have the right to do it, But you don't have the right to decide what will be the consequence from what you did.
Exactly.
The consequence is already predetermined, already in the creation of the universe. For each and every action, there will be certain reaction, and it's just, it's not unjust, and also there is nothing that will be not seen from the universal authorities. Every action that we have, every thought, there are authorities in the universe, they know, they are conscious about that, and there will be certain reaction which will be just according to Daiva, according to the supreme will of the Lord.
Yes, and therefore in Bhagavatam it is stated that there is always a witness of all activities, the directions, fire, the moon, the sun, air, the ether, and Paramatma ultimately. Therefore some people, especially some Christians and some other people like this, they say, how is it possible that we are punished? Because they don't believe in reincarnation. Although without reincarnation you cannot explain logically the situation each and every one of us holds in this life, because there is no logical explanation. There is no spiritual or material explanation that makes any sense if you don't accept the reincarnation. So some people say, why are we punished for crimes that we don't even remember, that we have committed in previous lives? And the answer is, maybe we don't remember, but Paramatma remembers. And also in Shastra, there is a description what kind of punishment, what kind of situation follows certain type of sinful activities. So by our situation this lifetime, we may trace back what kind of sin we have committed before.
Yes, and also why we have to go through it. Okay, Krishna, he can very easily say, oh, no problem, okay, I just excuse it. But actually by our actions, they bring also consequences for other living entities. So let's say your activity will become the reason for suffering of other living entity. Now, this cannot stay just like that.
Yeah, it should square even.
Something should come back so that you understand what have you done and what was the consequence.
Unless, just like in the case of Maharaja Parikshit, when he placed this dead snake over the shoulder of Shamika Rishi, he immediately felt repentant. He was repenting sincerely, and then Prabhupada writes, in the fire of this repentance, all the
He was freed already.
sinful reactions are burned, so he doesn't incur sin. So then, if you understand properly, what you have done is wrong, and you don't commit this in the future, then you don't have to suffer normally, because you have learned the lesson.
Yes.
But in most cases, there will be some reaction.
And it's according to the will of the Supreme Authority.
Not according to our
speculation.
will.
Yes. And it's not unjust. It's not that we don't deserve it. If something is happening in our life, that means we are deserving it.
That means the devotee would say we deserve even worse. But because the Lord is very merciful, He gives us only a very small token reaction of our sinful activities. Just like some devotees say, destiny is the language of God. This is the speech this is how God speaks to us, by our destiny. Because we may speculate in so many ways. I should acquire this wealth, this opulence, but then we end up, at the end of the day, we acquire something else. So this is what God wants. We have to accept it.
Yes. Someone may say, well, but the God, He can change our samskars. Why He's not doing this? Why He's not just creating all good fortune for us?
Well, Prabhupada did create our good fortune, for sure. Because there is no good reason. The Acharyas answered this question. Because there is no good reason for that. And why? Because Krishna doesn't interfere with our independence. We have chosen, we have ordered this meal. So Krishna will not substitute our meal with something else.
Unless we want to change the order.
Unless we become Krishna conscious and surrender to Krishna, then
we will be different.
yes, then we don't have karma anymore.
This pastime illustrates an essential devotional principle: the utter futility of one's personal endeavor if it is devoid of the Lord's mercy. This same episode is narrated in the 3rd canto of Bhagavatam. So our endeavor without the mercy of the Lord cannot bring result. We have to endeavor, we have to perform our duty.
Properly.
Karma nievadikaraste. But we have to know that the result depends on Krishna. Ma pala shukadachana. Don't be attached to your result. That's the proper vision. So we have Bhagavatam 3rd canto, quote, "Who am I, sitting on the lotus? From where did this lotus arise? There is nothing else except the lotus in the water, but there must be something else below, which supports this lotus. Being intelligent, I can ascertain this much." Reflecting in this way, Brahma entered into the water by the tubes in the stem of the lotus, searching out the navel of Vishnu from which rose the stem of the lotus. He could not reach it, though he approached close. 100 years passed for Brahma, who was searching out his source in the infathomable darkness.
So this is the original materialistic experiment conducted by the first living entity, the first scientist.
Who was the most intelligent?
Who was the most
Being intelligent, I can ascertain this much.
The most pious living entity. And he could not find the source, his own source and the source of the universe. So let alone the so-called intelligent, atheistic, mundane scholars, scientists, philosophers, speculators of today. Brahma couldn't do it without the mercy of the Lord, so why would they?
It will be much more difficult, yes. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur analyzes the significance of this passage. This verse shows that without the will of the Lord, all attempts by materialists will end in failure. Though he approached very close, he could not reach the lotus navel of Narayan, since it is impossible to reach without bhakti. One who gives up pride attains the Lord through meditation by the Lord's will. Sarartha Darshini Tika 3.8.1921. And Srila Prabhupada adds, the subject matter of the speculations of Brahma in the beginning regarding the creation of the cosmic manifestation is still a subject matter for mental speculators. The most intelligent man is he who tries to find the cause of his personal existence and that of the whole cosmic creation, and thus tries to find the ultimate cause. If this attempt is if his attempt is properly executed with penances and perseverance, it is sure to be crowned with success. Srimad Bhagavatam 3.8.18 purport. That was quote from Srila Prabhupada. The question as to whether or not the process of creation depicted in the 3rd canto correspond to that given in Brahma Samhita is confirmed by Srila Prabhupada. Quote, on the basis, Brahma meditated for 100 years before he could understand the supreme cause of all causes, And then he wrote the Brahma Samhita, which is approved and recognized by Lord Chaitanya, and in which he sings, Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. One has to wait for the mercy of the Lord before one can either render service unto him or know him as he is. Srimad Bhagavatam 3.8.22 purport. So basically, at the end, Brahma was successful, but not because of his intelligence or because of his experiment to find the origin of everything, but he was successful because he underwent tapasya, penances, austerities. And in this way, the Supreme Lord became satisfied and he gave him the result. Yes.
Divine austerities.
So many places, like Bhagavad Gita is saying, Bhakti mam abhijanati yavanyashchasmi tatvataha. Only through devotion I can be understood. Naham vedana tapasana danena nachejaya. I cannot be understood neither through tapasya, if it's devoid from desire to satisfy the Supreme Lord, neither through study of the Vedas, nor through worship, nor through austerity. Neither of those means is the way that I become satisfied, but through devotion. When the person, of course, he has to perform something externally, so these are the processes he's going to follow anyway, but when the mood of devotion is there, then Krishna will be satisfied. If one is performing all these things, and he is puffed up and he thinks that with his own endeavor, with his own tapasya, with his own intelligence, he will understand Krishna, his endeavors will be futile. They won't give actually a result. And we have the example of Brahmaji here. He tried with his own endeavors. Without basically the help of the Lord, he was not successful. And then later, when he performed tapasya and he was depending on the mercy of the Lord, actually, everything became revealed. And he offered these prayers that we are going to read very soon. So that was a short description of secondary creation. And of course now secondary creation continues with the revelation that Brahma is getting in the next 5 verses. Text 24 to 28. The Kama Bija and Kama Gayatri reveals all. Brahma is moved within by a deep inner longing, prayojana, to carry out the activities of secondary creation, abhideya. However, he has no idea where he is, who he is, or where he comes from. With such inadequate sambandha gyan, he is ill-equipped to act and frustrated in his goals. Brahma, however, is fortunate to receive the Lord's mercy in the form of spiritual instructions from the goddess of learning, Saraswati. So this is very important. If we want to achieve something, we should know what is our goal and where are we and who are we, what's our capacity, and what is the process, what are the things we have to make step after step so that we can achieve our goal. If one does not have this scientific knowledge in order, it will be difficult for him to achieve his goals. And even if he achieves something, this would mean that somehow, according to his intuition, he kind of had this knowledge already. He figured it out, but it was not scientific. So that means if he has to apply the same knowledge in a different situation, it will be difficult.
Very good point.
Because it's not scientific.
It was hit and miss. He was just lucky. this time, but next time he might not be so lucky
Yes.
because of lack of scientific knowledge. Therefore, in Bhagavatam, Krishna, in the second chapter of first canto, it is stated that one on this level acquires positive scientific knowledge, Bhagavat Tattva Vijnanam.
Mukta Sangasya Jayate, in order that
Yes.
one becomes liberated. Yes. So we need this knowledge, we need Sambandha, we need Abhideya, and we need Priyojana. And this knowledge, so Sambandha means the knowledge who are we, who is God, what is material nature, and what is the connection between these three. Namely, God is the supreme controller and we are subordinate to Him, and material nature is also subordinate. And we have to surrender our life in service to God so that we are not influenced by the material nature. And then, what is the goal? The goal is to become free from the influence of the material nature and go back to the spiritual world. And how to do it? There are different processes, and the process of bhakti is the most efficient one. It's the easiest, it's the fastest, especially for Kali Yuga. And this knowledge can, we can get this knowledge from authority, from a guru. We cannot just get it on our own. And like in this case, we see that Brahma was trying, but he was not successful to do it on his own. And then a mercy came. What was the mercy? Lord's mercy came in the form of spiritual instructions from the goddess of learning, Saraswati. So like Saraswati was the transparent via media between the Lord and Brahmaji. She played the role of guru of Brahma.
Mahatmanastu mam partha Davim Prakriti Mashrita. So Davi Prakriti came in order to help Brahma with spiritual knowledge.
To achieve his
Jnana Dipena Bhasvata. Yoga Kshema Vahamyaham. All these verses Krishna explains that I dispel the darkness of ignorance. Personally or
through some representative.
Through my representative.
Yes. Text 24 and 25. Lord Brahma surrenders. A divine voice, Divya Saraswati, then spoke to him directly and gave him the dear mantra composed of the Kama Bija, the words Krishnaya, Govindaya, Gopijana Vallabhaya, and the syllable dear to the fire, Swaha. You are an expert in meditation. You should meditate using this mantra. You attain your desires. So Brahma got mantra. So that was the process. Meditate on this mantra. This mantra will reveal you reality, will reveal who are you, what is your goal, and how you can achieve it. Our process is working more or less in the same way. We are receiving mantra from a guru, and if we are chanting the mantra properly, this mantra will reveal the reality. Who are we, what's our connection with Krishna, and how to serve him properly. How to be established in our original constitutional position of servants of Krishna. This same Kama Bija mantra was previously glorified in text 3 as the king of mantras, residing in the most sacred of all abodes, Gokula. Its significance is further revealed by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. The mantra consisting of 18 divine letters prefixed by the Kama Bija is alone super excellent. Kama Bija means clean. Yes. It has a twofold aspect. One aspect is that it tends to make the pure soul run after all attractive Shri Krishna and the Lord of Gokula and the divine milkmaids. This is the acme of the spiritual tendency of the jivas. When the devotee is free from all sorts of mundane desires and willing to serve the Lord, he attains the fruition of his heart's desire, the love of Krishna. But in the case of the devotee who is not of unmixed aptitude, this super excellent mantra fulfills his heart's desires also. I think there is a mistake here.
Who is of mixed? Who
Yes.
is of? Okay, maybe material devotee, because in the case of devotee who is not
Mixed devotee, not pure devotee.
who is who is of unmixed. Yes. Okay. So this is Mishra devotee. Okay.
So the mantra fulfills his desires also. The transcendental Kama Bija is inherent in the divine Logos located in Goloka. And the Kama Bija, pervertedly reflected in the worldly affairs, satisfies all sorts of desires of this mundane world.
Logos is a Greek word which means the word, the divine. Basically, it means Shabda Brahma, the divine word by which everything became created. It's a kind of manifestation of God in speech.
So, this mantra that Brahma received, it can work in twofold ways. It can fulfill your spiritual aspirations, if this is what you want, or it can fulfill your material aspirations, if this is what you want. So it's like a wish-fulfilling tree, or a wish-fulfilling cow. According to desires you have, they can be fulfilled. And our process of chanting Hare Krishna mantra works the same way, because Hare Krishna is built from the names of Krishna, and the name of Krishna is not different from Krishna. And because Krishna is a personality, he is not just mechanically giving you some result. The result that you're going to get from your chanting of Hare Krishna is very much depends on how you approach the mantra, with what kind of desire, what kind of motivation. So the Maha Mantra can also fulfill your spiritual ambitions, means you can develop your love of Krishna and go back to the spiritual world, but also it can fulfill your material desires. The question may appear, but if it fulfills your material desires, is it going to fulfill also your spiritual desires? Well, it depends. It depends if we are committing offenses or not. Like in the case of Dhruva Maharaj, he wanted something material, so he was chanting the mantra that he got from his guru, Narada Muni, with material ambition. But he was not offensive, but he had material desires. And then when Krishna appeared and Dhruva Maharaj was purified from the vision of Krishna's form, he actually changed his desires because he was purified. And he said, no, I don't want all these material things. Rather, I want a spiritual advancement. I want to go back to the spiritual world. And then Krishna, who appeared in front of him, said, but you already wanted these things, so now I have to give them to you. You wanted a huge kingdom, you wanted to be a great king. I'll give all these things to you. And then Dhruva Maharaj said, but then you won't give me prema. And then the Lord said, no problem, I'll give you both. I'll give you material, fulfill your material desires, and at the same time I'll give you prema. So we should not be offensive, even if we have some material desires. Of course, in one sense, having a material desires is offense to the holy name, but meaning not be offensive to the Vaishnavas, to the spiritual master, to the Vedas, interpret the holy name in some strange way, or perform sinful activities and at the same time chant Hare Krishna to purify our sinful activities, free from all these things. This is not the Gayatri itself, it is also referred to as the Krishna mantra. Like the Gayatri, however, it is fully encompassed. It fully encompasses the threefold principles of Sambandha, Abhideya and Prayojana. Srila Prabhupada explains how, chanted 3 times a day by Brahmanas, the famed Gayatri mantra is also said to honor this progression of deities, Madan Mohan, Govinda and Gopinath, by specifically mentioning their names. Traditionally, Krishnaya refers to Madan Mohan, Govindaya refers to Govindadev, and Gopi Jana Vallabhaya refers to Gopinath. So the 3 main deities are approached through this mantra. Madan Mohan is the deity of Sambandha. He helps you to establish your Sambandha, to become purified. And Govindaji is the deity of Abhideya. He is helping you to properly practice the process of bhakti. And Gopijana Vallabha is Gopinath, is the ultimate goal. Pastimes of Krishna in the spiritual world. Under what circumstances this Saraswati Devi gave this rare and precious Krishna mantra to Brahmaji so easily? Jiva Goswami answers in his commentary to this verse that it was possible only by the mercy of Bhagavan. And why was such unexpected mercy suddenly available? Because Brahmaji had worshipped Bhagavan in his previous life. So basically, it was because of his previous devotional service he got this special mercy. Like we have other cases like that, like Gajendra. Also the Lord appeared to help him when he was in a difficult situation. Why? He said because of his service from the previous life. He was a great king and he was serving the Lord, and he remembered these prayers that he was offering to the Lord from his previous life.
Therefore it's so important to memorize prayers from Bhagavatam, because this memory may go with us, may stay with us in our next life. Maybe, by Krishna's mercy.
Yes.
And can save us, even if we are in some awkward situation.
By the way, the story of Ajamil also similar. Like he was a Brahman and he was performing some spiritual activities, devotional service. Then he had this serious fall down, but because of his previous practice, he had this great fortune to give to his son the name Narayan. And he continued in this way with his spiritual practice, chanting all the time Narayan, Narayan, Narayan. So because of the previous service, that's why in Bhagavad Gita it is said devotional service is never lost. Neha vikrama shosti pratyavayo na vidyate sva alpam api asya dharmasya trayate mahato Gayatri. Whatever one performs in this life, it stays. And Srila Prabhupada is saying, if this life we manage to create, to perform 2% of devotional service, next life we will continue from 2%. We will not start from 0 from beginning. So devotional service rendered to Krishna, it stays with us, and we just continue to build it up until we become perfect. And then we have the right to go to the spiritual world.
And on the other hand, all these karma kanda performances, for example, they have to be perfectly done, and they have to be finished completely, successfully. Otherwise, they don't yield any result. You have these big yagyas that sometimes they take a whole year. Like you have 9 months to perform just the preliminaries, because you have to make the bricks for the kunda, and you have to dry them on the sun personally. The brahmanas have to do this. And it takes long time, and then you have to get so many ingredients from everywhere, from all over the place. They have to be pure. Everything should be impeccable, and then even a small mistake in chanting the mantras cancels the whole 9 month or 1 year preparation and performance of these yagas, and then you don't get the result. Therefore, in the beginning of Bhagavatam, the sages are complaining. Our bodies, they become blackened by the smoke of all these yagyas, and we are still not sure of the result. Because Kali Yuga, so many discrepancies. It's a color dosha nidarjan, so many faults. But there is one great quality. Just by chanting the holy name, one can attain perfection.
Yes, so direct devotional service, even in performed incorrectly, imperfectly, still there is no loss and there is no diminution. And the other process, even if they are performed almost perfectly, still the result is not sure. Until you complete them on 100% in a pure way, the result may not come.
Tekva sadarvam charanam bhujam harer.
Yes.
This verse also says the same thing.
Tyaktva swadharmam charanam bhujam harer bhajan apakvo tapatet tato yadi yatra kva vabhadram abhutamushakim. Where is the problem? If you start performing devotional service, you surrender your life to the lotus feet of Hari, and something happened and you fell down, where is the problem? There is no loss. And kova arta aptum bhajatam swadharmataha. And even if you perform perfectly all your other materialistic duties, if you don't surrender to Krishna, where is the benefit? Where is the benefit? Like
Shrama eva hi kevalam.
Shrama eva hi kevalam. If you don't develop taste,
Dharma.
Dharmasya hi.
No, this is another one.
Dharma svanushtita bhumsa vishvaksena kata suyaha not padayet yati ratim Shrama eva hi kevalam. Yes. Also this very nice verse from 8th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Shukracharya is saying to the Lord, when the yagya was completed and the Supreme Lord asked Shukracharya, please say what were the discrepancies so that they can be changed,
rectified,
yes. And yagya can be successful.
Prayashchita.
Shukracharya said, Mantratas tantratas chidram desha kalar havastuta sarva karoti nischidram anusankirtanam tava. Whatever discrepancies may be in the chanting of the mantras and tantras, the rituals into the time or the
recipient or the circumstance,
the person or the paraphernalia which is used, all these things, sarva karoti nischidram, all the discrepancies disappear if in this place is present anusankirtanam tava, the chanting of your holy name. So this is the power of the direct devotional service. Once chanting is present, everything becomes perfect. Everything is fine. Lord Brahma, text 26, Lord Brahma worships Krishna. Brahma underwent meditation for a long time and pleased the highest form of God, The indestructible Govinda, Krishna, the Lord of Shvetadvipa, situated in Goloka, whose land is made of Chintamani. Govinda is worshipped by Prakriti in the form of its gunas from a distance. He has an eternal form of knowledge and bliss which is self-revealing. He is seated on a large throne in the pericarp of a lotus with millions of stamens and thousands of petals, playing a flute with his lotus mouth, and is surrounded by the gopis and praised by other associates. This verse describes how chanting this mantra satisfied Brahmaji's desire to become empowered to create the universe. Brahma then worshipped Govinda in Goloka using the verses of praise which follow. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur explains how Brahma had personal motives, yet was sensible enough to approach Krishna for their fulfillment rather than worship other mundane gift-giving deities.
There was nobody there, so I don't know which mundane deities would Brahma decide to worship. But in principle, it is.
In principle, yes. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur says, true devotion is unalloyed devotional activity, free from all mundane desire. The devotion of Brahma is not unmixed devotion, but there is a stage of unmixed predilection even in devotion for the attainment of one's selfish desire. This has been fully described in the concluding 5 shlokas of this work. That is the easiest method of divine service prior to the attainment of self-realization by fallen souls. So in other words, akama sarva kama ova, moksha kama udaridi, tivrana bhakti yogina yajta purusham param. Some personalities, they'll be very lucky to have this pure devotion, pure motivation, and then Krishna will fulfill their desires. Other personalities, they may have material desires, material motivations, but they are so pious and so advanced and so pure that they won't depend on themselves, these material desires to be fulfilled. Rather, they will depend on the mercy of the Lord. And what will be their practice? Instead, start running here and there to fulfill themselves their desire. They will rather perform very seriously devotional process, sadhana bhakti, with the aspiration that these my desires, I want them fulfilled. And then Krishna will arrange for this. And this is the case here of Brahmaji. He had this desire, and Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj explains it is mixed desire, it's mixed devotion, it's material, but he knew that the way to achieve powers, to be able to create the universe, is through the mercy of the Lord. So he just sat down and performed tapasya and chanted this mantra that he got from Saraswati Devi, and we'll see now what was the result from it. Basically, he got empowered to create the universe. So this is kind of like some lesson for us, that even if we have material desires, better is just to surrender to Krishna and perform very seriously devotional service, and whatever is needed, Krishna will arrange for us. Much better than trying on our own to run here and there and to try to make arrangements for our life, and we don't know actually what is the best for us. And then the result is not really amazing. Like we can see sometimes in the life of some devotees. They performed serious tapasya for a certain number of years. Let's say they were distributing books or going very seriously on Harinam or whatever, distributing seriously prasadam. They perform a serious tapasya for some number of years, but still in their heart they had some material desire. Krishna arranged at the end. Krishna decided, okay, you perform all this amazing service for me, thank you very much. Now I'll make a very special arrangement for you. Something much higher than what you think actually should come in your life. Something much more amazing. And many stories like devotees there saying, I was thinking I wanted this, and then Krishna, he did this amazing arrangement. Krishna makes some special arrangements for those devotees, so that they can perform seriously with their sadhana, with their spiritual practice, and at the same time have some material comforts, whatever they needed. So Krishna is taking care of his devotees. Yoga Kshema Bhamyaham. Text 27. Then the embodiment of the Vedas, the Gayatri mantra emanating from the sound of Krishna's flute after entering his ears, appeared in the four mouths of Brahma. Uttering the Gayatri mantra, Brahma, being purified, attained second birth from the original Guru, Krishna. This Kama Gayatri mantra is described by Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati as the sequel of the 18-lettered mantra mentioned previously. After receiving it directly from the mantra's presiding deity Krishna, Brahma attained the status of being twice born. The significance
of the mantra.
The significance of the mantra is elaborated as follows. So basically, which was the Gayatri mantra that Brahma received? This is the last of the Gayatri mantras that we are chanting. ISKCON devotees, we are chanting. That was the mantra he got. So the sound of Krishna's flute entered in Brahma's ears, and this is what came out from his mouth. So, revelation, initiation. Quote. This is from Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. The sound of Krishna's flute is a transcendental blissful sound. Hence, the archetype of all Veda is present in it. The Gayatri is Vedic rhythm. It contains a brief meditation and a prayer. Kama Gayatri is the highest of all the Gayatris, because the meditation and prayer contained in it are full of the perfect transcendental sportive activities which are not to be found in any other Gayatri. In this Gayatri, the realization of the transcendental pastimes of Sri Gopijana Vallabha, after perfect meditation and the prayer for the attainment of the transcendental God of love, are indicated. In the spiritual world, there is no better mode of endeavor for securing the super excellent rasa, Bidelt love. Bidelt love. Rasa Bidelt love. So in other words, this mantra reveals the spiritual activities, the high spiritual activities of the Lord, and at the same time is a prayer, so that the devotee can become part of these activities, can enter this reality. Whoever has received the same Gayatri in reality has attained his spiritual rebirth. The status of a twice born that is obtained in accordance with one's worldly nature and lineage, but the fettered souls, by the fettered souls in the mundane world, is far inferior to that of a twice born who obtains admission into the transcendental world. Because the initiation or acquisition of transcendental birth as a result of spiritual initiation, is the highest of glories in as much as the jiva is thereby enabled to attain to the transcendental realm. Brahma Samhita 5.27 purport. So we have two kinds of second births. One is just based on the material position of the person. Let's say you are born in a Brahminical family, and just as a part of the ritual samskara, you are getting second initiation, you are getting Brahmana thread, and this gives you the right to study the Vedas or to perform certain yagyas and so on and so on. And this is a high situation in terms of material realm, material existence. But Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur is explaining that the initiation that one is getting if he achieves this mantra and chants this mantra is much higher, because it's not just the highest position in the material world, it's an opportunity to enter into the spiritual world, so it's a different dimension. You have the right to enter into the spiritual reality. Srila Prabhupada explains how the progression of the three principal deities is also represented in the Kama Gayatri. This mantra is just like a Vedic hymn, but it is the Supreme Personality of Godhead Himself. There is no difference between the Kama Gayatri and Krishna. Both are composed of 24.5 transcendental letters. The mantra depicted in the letters is also Krishna. And the mantra rises just like the moon. Due to this, there is a perverted reflection of desire in human society and among all kinds of living entities. In the mantra, Krishna is called Kamadeva or Madan Mohan, the deity who establishes our relationship with Krishna. Govinda or Pushpabana, who carries an arrow made of flowers, is the personality of Godhead who accepts our devotional service. And Ananga or Gopi Jana Vallabha satisfies all the gopis and is the ultimate goal of life. This Kama Gayatri simply does not belong to this material world. When one is advanced in spiritual understanding, he can worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead with his spiritually purified senses and fulfill the desires of the Lord. Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Liwa, 838-139 purport. Text 28, Brahma praises the Lord. Becoming enlightened by this Gayatri, Brahma became thoroughly knowledgeable of the highest truth. He satisfied Keshava by the following verses of praise, following the statements of the Vedas. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati comments, Brahma thought this within himself. Quote, by the recollection of Kama Gayatri, it seems to me that I am the eternal maidservant of Krishna. Though the other mysteries in regard to the condition of the maidservants of Krishna were not revealed to him, Brahma, by dint of his searching self-consciousness, became well acquainted with the ocean of truth. All the truths of the Vedas were revealed to him, and with the help of those essences of the Vedas, he offered this hymn to the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna. Srimad Mahaprabhu has taught this hymn to his favorite disciples inasmuch as it fully contains all the transcendental truths regarding the Vaishnava philosophy. Readers are requested to study and try to enter into the spirit of his hymn with great care and attention as a regular daily function. Brahma Samhita 5.28 purport. So Brahma, chanting properly this mantra, he got revelation of the absolute reality.
And he expressed his revelation through these prayers.
Through these prayers.
He basically told us what he experienced.
Yes.
These are his written ecstasies.
Yes, the whole reality. But it's interesting that the whole revelation of the reality started with the truth, who is he? I'm the eternal servant of Krishna. That was the first thing. And then he got the knowledge of who is Krishna and what is the nature of the
Because it
spiritual
always starts with Sambandha Gyan.
Yes.
And then goes through Abhidya and then Prayojana.
Okay, so next time we'll start with the Govindamani Purusham prayers. Verses 29 to 56, which is the essence of this chapter of Brahma Samhita. Om Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Shri Prabhupada ki jai,
Jai.
Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Nitai Gaura Premanande